Oh, we're on. Praise Jesus, everybody. Well, it is 1:45 p.m. Pacific time, and it is Friday, the 4th of January, and I am in my, quote, new car. It's a 2008 Pontiac G5. So it's got a sunroof, and ever since 1999, 19 or 20 years, I've had my Tacoma, and Toyota Tacoma, since it was brand spanking new, all paid off and everything. And I've been thinking that if the good Lord wants me to keep it, I'll go ahead and rebuild it, do whatever it needs, new upholstery and everything, and keep it as a nice classic 99 Tacoma 5-speed stick shift, rear-wheel drive, 4-cylinder, awesome vehicle. And I was willing to keep it if the Lord wanted me to keep it, but it's been a blessing, and I haven't been able to afford payments on anything newer. And on the eve of Christmas Eve of 2018, my son and I was driving on a surface road, a 40-mile-an-hour road, and a young new driver in a RAV4 SUV with large tires. Thank God she had large tires, because I ended up skidding and running right into her door. She pulled into my lane and then stopped because she didn't realize that she needed to have patience and wait for traffic to go by before she sees anybody oncoming traffic. So she made this big, huge mistake. So I was hoping that my vehicle can be repaired, my Tacoma. The front left fender, they totaled it. To make a long story short, they totaled it. I'm on my way to work right now, so I've got plenty of time to talk about some things. I want to talk about the witch hunt, Mueller, and I also want to talk about a couple of scriptures that'll be good for this year that I'm going to be focusing on. And but anyhow, they totaled my vehicle, and I got a small settlement. So I had to buy a car for $2,500. Immediately, I had 6 days. I believe from the 23rd to the 1st, I finally had it at home. So it took like 9 days. Say there's 31 days in December 2018. I think there was only 30, so it took like 9 days. And I couldn't even really enjoy Christmas. I couldn't enjoy New Year's, so I stayed home for Christmas. I stayed home for New Year's, and I actually stayed home for Thanksgiving also, because I was sick. I was sick for 3 weeks, and then this accident happened. So my 2018 ended with a bang, a shebang. The whole shebang, it just ended, and it began very well. Because I have a better car that is in way better operating condition. Plus, it's an automatic, and it has a sunroof. The Lord hears your desires. I wanted to even have my roof cut out in my Tacoma to have a sunroof, and but as my son Michael Jr. said, he says maybe God was tired of my Tacoma. I think he was, because things were going wrong in it. The air conditioning button wouldn't stay engaged unless I put a Coke tab wedged in it. I pulled the Coke tab out one time, and instead of pulling the Coke tab out, the whole contraption mechanism about this long pulled out. So it was like a little cartridge. And The back brake lights, I couldn't figure out why they kept on going out. The fuse, the 15 amp fuse keeps going out. Sometimes the brake lights will be good for a week and a half, 3 weeks, and not good. I spliced a wire, I found a kink in the wire, so maybe there's another kink somewhere, and you got to pull a whole wire out to investigate it. And I couldn't get around to that. Let's see, something else was wrong with it. But anyways, the battery and the fuse box was smashed into each other and everything. Oh, the windshield wiper fluid reservoir was so brittle that I actually poked a hole in it with my finger. I noticed a crack in it, I noticed a break in it, and then I touched it, and then that happened. There's an accident right here. The sheriff is right on the freeway behind a vehicle stalled in the freeway, the number 3 lane. There's another car on the shoulder back there that's been bashed. So there's an accident. Thank you, Jesus, we got to avoid this. But anyhow, yeah, things were going wrong with it. The seats were sunken in. The back thing right here was all smashed, and I could feel the bars in it from sleeping in my car on long trips to Oregon, back to San Diego again several times. I even drove to Virginia. My son and I drove to Virginia and back one summer, a few summers ago. This car. And so that car, that vehicle got a lot of mileage on it. Very dependable. And fortunately, my son and I didn't get hurt, and that poor 16-year-old girl in the vehicle didn't get hurt. And everything worked wonderful because I was able to get another car. Very dependable. So I'm blessed this year. But those of you who have been watching my podcasts, my videos, reading my blog, I work from 3:30 p.m. to midnight, so after midnight tonight is Friday. I'll go ahead and put the information, but please reference this video, and please subscribe to my YouTube, my Spreaker, and my blog, and you can even friend me. Just say Mike Tobin Show. If you friend me, message me, private message me, and say, hey, I watched your Michael Tobin Show. And you can be on my Facebook page. Every year, I prune my Facebook page. And I do that for the privacy of my friends, because I don't deal with trolls on websites. I get messages from years ago. It's like all of a sudden I see these messages. I'm like, wow, that's from 2011. People cussing me out and everything. And it's all I don't argue and I don't put people down. All I do is present news, commentary with a biblical perspective. But people get hurt and people are trolls. An old word is shill, S-C-H-I-L-L, I think. The communists were ones to be shills. They started doing that in the United States in the 1920s, the early 1900s. And they put ads in newspapers and things like that. Now we've got the internet, so we've got shills who are literally getting paid to troll, T-R-O-L-L. That's a new form of a old word, troll. They troll websites, they troll people's social media sites and things like that. So I don't deal with them. So if you friend me, you're safe, you're private. And my friends list is private also. People can't see my friends list. So go ahead and subscribe to my various social medias. And a couple of scriptures going forward. Probably the most famous scripture in the Pentecostal field. And I'm not talking about a denominational Pentecostal. I'm talking about people who they practice Pentecostalism, which is operating in all 9 gifts of the Spirit. Well, a lot of us learn, fortunately, that we also need to engage in the 9 fruit of the Spirit. love, joy, peace, long-suffering, patience, endurance, kindness, gentleness. Of such there is no law against, the Bible says. So we need to engage in the fruit of the Spirit as well. But one of the most popular verses is taken from Joel. In these days, your old men will dream dreams, your young men will prophesy, and the handmaidens will prophesy. And another verse taken from the book of Psalms: commit your work to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. So I pray this on the whole church, all who are listening. You're going through trials, you just can't stand it, you want to give up, and you keep trying to give up, but you just can't. You know the reason why you can't give up is because of what Jeremiah said in the book of Jeremiah. He was ordered by God to take all the prophecies during his life and present them. So he did that. And he said that he will no longer proclaim God's word because it was so painful to him. The rejection was so painful to him. Hatred, arrogance, bitterness from the people was so bad that it grieved him. He's known as the weeping prophet, but he says, I won't proclaim the name of the Lord any longer, but God's word became in me like fire shut up in my bones. And that's what happens. That's why you can't quit. You don't know how to quit. So don't try and quit trying to quit. You don't know how, because you're a child of God. God's word is going to be in you like fire shut up in your bones. So with that said, in October of 2015, I lost my job that I had for 7 years. It was a perfect career. And I was so discouraged that I did not want to stay in that field any longer. But my company's client decided to renew a contract with a different company. It was a property maintenance company. So they made a contract with a different company, and we all got let go. My company had just gotten through hiring a bunch of people, so they couldn't bring everybody on unless you were willing to wait for who knows how long. Most of them got on, and the rest got jobs elsewhere. Well, I'm part of the rest. I got jobs elsewhere. It's been very difficult since then. Ever since 2011, I've been podcasting audio and video, and I have a disc jockey radio station, Christian radio station disc jockey experience, 5 years as a DJ, a production manager, and an assistant manager of an AM Christian radio station from 1989 to late 1993. So I say 94 because it was November when I came back home to California. So I have all that. News is in my bones. Ministry is in my bones. I've got quite a list of being a chaplain for the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team, preaching on the streets with Ray Comfort's ministry in Hollywood and Los Angeles, and prison ministry in Oregon for 7 years. So many of these things. I've been to the mission field. I've been to the Holy Land. I walked where Jesus walked. And so many opportunities that I just happened to be around and was able to take. So my desire was to kick it into high gear, trying to get listener support, and it has been totally dry. My whole Facebook account, friends, family, people I know personally, they don't even subscribe to my YouTube account. They don't subscribe to my Spreaker audio. They don't subscribe to my blog. They find time to go to Las Vegas and Hawaii and all these other things. They're buying all these cute little things, gadgets and everything. I wrote a book. They won't even buy my book for $4, an ebook. So there's no participation from my Jerusalem, okay? I preached in my Jerusalem, and it's time for me to go out to Samaria and the uttermost parts of the world. And I'm quite discouraged, actually. But Jesus was discouraged too. He was acquainted with grief. And I don't think any of us will be able to understand and comprehend and experience the grief that Jesus was acquainted with. So anything that we boo-hoo and complain and whine about, it does not even compare. There's people in other countries that actually have problems. The problems that we have, they can only dream of switching places with us. So be that as it may, as far as being an American, our version of being discouraged is the kind of discouragement that I'm accepting, or not accepting, but experiencing right this time in my life. Since 2015, going on 5 years now, I've been trying to kick it into high gear and gathering support, and it hasn't happened. So this is really my last video that I'm going to be posting on my Facebook. And if anybody on my Facebook runs into this, hello, God bless you. My only resort to deal with my discouragement is just to retract and to digress from society, friends, and church. What's the point if you can't get people to help lift you up, to support you, moral support? I know how to get a lot of moral support and a lot of support from church. What I have to do is speak a language and be a good boy, and blessings, so-called blessings, start coming to you in the name of blessings. But what it is you are jumping through hoops in order to gain what you are ambitious to achieve, and I won't do that. Blessings come from above. They come from the Lord. So we'll see what this year has in store for me. I'm not stubborn and I'm not prideful. I'm just holding my ground, and if I get blessings, it's from the Lord. So with that said, I invite you to please subscribe to my channel, because I'm going out to the uttermost parts of the earth right now. I'm going to my Samaria. I've preached in my Jerusalem, my hometown, San Diego County. But anyways, hey, that's my little intro rant. So there is an article, and I kind of regard it as a little bit of truth trickles out once in a while. But Senator Grassley had a meeting with Mueller and a few other people in the FBI, government, law enforcement, with the Senate and the Congress and all that. And retired General Flynn, who was on President Trump's, in his cabinet briefly, as part of the attack against Trump, everybody else is getting attacked. And this for 2 years. So this reporter from The Hill, it's a moderate news wire, pointed out that Senator Grassley said this information needs to be made public because it has no it has no basis to be considered any danger to American security. Well, our government acronyms and law enforcement decided to keep that information quiet and out of the hands of the American public. But this information he is inferring will exonerate retired General Flynn. And it's been 2 years, longer than one would even hope for or expect, that this whole thing about the Russian collusion and everything, all the names and facts, the numbers are already out there. It's an absolute hoax, referred to as a witch hunt, of course. absolute hoax, and it has to be acknowledged as a hoax, and it will be acknowledged as a hoax. We have a so-called Democrat majority in the lower House of Representatives, the lower Senate, the congressmen and congresswomen. Anything that they do is useless because it won't be enacted by the senators. So for the next 2 years, which is a congressman's tenure or term, is going to be a sideshow. So don't be getting all bitter and all bent out of shape about everything that you're seeing in the news, because it's just a sideshow. So look forward to this. That when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. People are already rejoicing. But the thing is our mainstream media needs to get on board with actually telling people news and referring to things that actually make sense, instead of a bunch of childish teenage thinking level arguments. But dedicate your work unto the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. What's the Lord showing you? Don't be afraid to share what the Lord is showing you, which is what I'm doing right now. So this is just a brief update on my year. It's only taken 22 minutes to do this. So, hey, you guys, stay tuned. Look at my previous YouTubes, my previous podcasts. This will be on my Spreaker too. I have a couple of them yet to put on my audio Spreaker. And please, I invite you to get on board. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and all my various social media accounts. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and have a wonderful day.